Our whole business and why we started this is we think every challenge and problem can be solved through introductions, especially warm introductions. And we think that not enough people are actually meeting each other face to face. And that's why we really started Nucleus and what we do. So we've made close to 6,000 introductions in the last 18 months. It's resulted in multi-million dollars of deal value, but more importantly, multiple hundreds, multiple thousands of friendships. And that's what's really important to us. And that's who we are. And that's how we built.
We got another episode of the Beyond Virtual podcast, and I'm very excited for this one. We have two close friends. We're actually in business together. They've actually get me to where, you know what? I'm doing this all wrong. What am I doing? I'm going on a tangent like I normally do. Let me intro these guys properly, and they can tell you what they do, because it's an entire resume. It keeps going and going and going in the best way possible. I got Jake and I got Axe. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, Shane? Thanks for having me.
It's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you guys so much. So please tell us who you guys are, what you guys are focusing on. Let's start with the intros.
Let's do it. Well, I'm Michael Axman, co-founder of Nucleus. Shane, it's an honor to be here. And at Nucleus, we focus on the power of the warm introduction. We're focused on connecting great people to great people, and we really do that in three different ways. The first way is through Nucleus Ventures, where we're investing in founders. And Shane, as you mentioned earlier, we've kind of partnered in that regard, first of many. The second is Nucleus Advisory, where we provide warm introductions as a service to business owners, startup founders, agency operators, and really help with the follow-ups. And then the third is Nucleus Community, where we host a ton of events as well. In addition, you were at a couple of those events in the past. So the reason we created these three pillars is because it's kind of a flywheel where they speak to each other, and there's a lot of overlap, and it's kind of what the market was asking for. So I'll let Jake intro himself now.
That was great, Axe. Axe didn't give enough about his background, but Axe has an amazing background as well. He's from Long Island. He's a New Yorker, and I'm from LA, so we got both coasts. We've been very, very close friends for a long time. We started this business 18 months ago. It's called the Nucleus Network. This is our logo actually right here. And like Axe said, our whole business and why we started this is we think every challenge and problem can be solved through introductions, especially warm introductions. And we think that not enough people are actually meeting each other face to face. And that's why we really started Nucleus and what we do. So we've made close to 6,000 introductions in the last 18 months. It's resulted in multi-million dollars of deal value, but more importantly, multiple hundreds, multiple thousands of friendships. And that's what's really important to us. And that's who we are, and that's what we built. So I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. I went to the University of Michigan. I started a company previously called Space Trade in college. I sold it, and then I've kind of evolved. And I also love the content world, which is, I think it's really smart what you're doing, Shane, starting a podcast and bringing it to your clients and friends, because I think the world is continuing to evolve into the content space, and people are day trading attention. So it's an honor to be here. We love you. We love your business. We love what you're doing, and it's an honor to have you in the Nucleus Network.
You know, I think we're going to get a Nucleus podcast pretty soon, unless I just don't think you guys have enough time. How do you have enough time today? 18 months, that's it? Man, I thought you guys have been around for 5 years. I feel like I've been on almost like the ground floor. So I know Jake's background a little bit more as far as, you know, who he learned from. And I can't believe how fast you guys have grown in the last 18 months. I think that's just mind-boggling to me. So I want to talk about the importance of relationships. I want to start right there, because in this day and age where this is what we're used to and this is what we're comfortable with, is looking at our phones or being comfortable behind the desks and doing Zooms. I think it's hard enough to actually go to a networking event when you have a million other things to do. When you're a family man, when you have friends, when you just want to hang out and just have a beer or just be by yourself. What's the importance of actually networking and actually getting yourself out of that comfort zone? What does it do for your dopamine, for your mindset?
Yeah, that's a really important question that I think not enough people are listening to. What's the most important commodity that people have? Shane, you probably know this answer.
Time.
There we go, time. Especially for busy founders and people who like family men, whatever it is. What we've kind of noticed is rather than going and flying to all these conferences and events and kind of being in all these rooms with a lot of people, where you meet 1, 2, 3 people that you end up staying in touch with. We've built a business that's all about, hey, you don't even need to go to that. We basically vetted all these people for you. Let us introduce you to those people. Maybe it'll be business that you guys do together, but more importantly, they're just really good people that we vetted. So that's what we really realized. And when it comes down to why it's so important, you always have to continue to learn and evolve. The most influential people in society now are the ones that aren't stagnant. They're the ones that get out of their comfort zone. And the best way to do that is to meet new people. And that's what we've realized. Ax, if you want to add on to that.
Yeah, I love the name of this podcast. It's so fitting for that question you just asked, Shane, beyond virtual. Obviously, in today's day and age, so much gets done, and it's a great asset to have, the phone, the text, the email, the Zoom. And there's always going to be a time and place for that. Jake and I are big proponents of getting on the plane. We say it every day. Doesn't mean get on the plane, when you don't think you have to, but if there's an opportunity to meet a potential client, a customer, a friend, a family member, business or not, get on the plane and go see that person, because that in-person connection, shaking their hand, grabbing coffee, grabbing the beer, like you mentioned, going out together, getting some food, like that's where real human connection was created, quite frankly, and where it's going to continue to thrive. And so that's why we lean into that. Jake and I are on a plane almost every other week, going to meet clients, hosting events. And then when we do so, we like to create that sense of community where we can have amazing people like you, Shane, meeting people already to strengthen relationships, and then also meeting new people to kind of expand your Rolodex, as Jake just mentioned.
I think there's one big thing here that needs to be said. It's memories. You're building something that you can go back on. You're building a relationship with a person by going out and shaking their hand and having a beer with them and spending the time with them, comparatively to being at home and doing nothing. And that's what you guys are doing, on top of, sending out these amazing referrals, which, by the way, I continue to say thank you, but thank you again. But I'm actually building a stronger rapport and a relationship with you guys. You guys know me inside and out by every time that we go and get to hang out and see each other and have breakfast, or I get to slip and fall and you can say, remember that one time? That's like one of the most important things is you're building rapport. You're building a friendship with these guys. In this day and age where technology is taking over, I think this is going to stand as true as time, especially for business and for relationships. Community stands at the highest pillar. Actually, I was on a podcast yesterday and we were talking about, coaching. And essentially, if you don't have somebody, if you don't have a friend that is rooting for you in your corner, that wants you to be successful, that's the powers of a coach, is they want you to succeed. They want you to get to that level. When you have somebody like that, you even strive to be better, not for just yourself, but for the coach. It's the same thing for an established community. You guys want every single person to succeed in there. You don't want people to fall off. You don't want, friendships to go separate ways. You guys are in the fucking middle of it and kind of binding this together. So anyways, I applaud the actual community aspect here. I want to bring this to the venture side. The venture side, I remember investing into the first one in with you guys, robotics, AI, it's taking over the world. I'm all in. That sounds great. Why did you guys start the venture side personally?
It's a great question. It really happened organically, Shane. We were working with all these founders and business owners, and even working with investors too, family offices, angel investors, high net worth individuals. And Jake and I try and do our best to keep an eye out for what's trending, what's coming next. And we always saw a constant, which is there's no shortage of founders raising capital. Everybody knows that. There is a shortage of quality founders raising capital. So Jake and I at Nucleus Ventures act as the first line of defense on behalf of the investor yourself,
I like that.
The angel investor, the family office, to say, hey, we spoke to 150 founders this month. This is the one we're betting on. This is the founder in the business that we're investing in. Here's why you should invest with us, versus a lot of other players in the space, who sometimes will just, there's different incentives. And it goes back to what you just mentioned, Shane. You want to have a vested interest in the people you're working with and the partners you're doing business for. And so for us, the fact that we're investing in every deal that we send out, it screams that message from the rooftops. And it shows you that we're putting our eggs in this basket and we're telling you why you should join us, versus, hey, here's this founder you should take a look at. They've got a cool company. So that's kind of the core. That's how it started. It's evolved a lot ever since. We've now deployed just under $15 million into 9 different companies in the last 6 months, and that's growing super quickly. So it's really exciting because we get to be opportunistic. We get to pick, do we like early stage? Do we like late stage? What are investors looking for? And it's been a hell of a ride doing it.
Jake, I don't think you can add much more to that. I think it was perfectly said on that aspect.
It was perfectly, as Michael usually does. I can add one more thing. Is that okay, Shane?
Yeah, please.
I think the next question we commonly get is, what companies do we invest into? That's probably the next aspect. And I think we've really, of course, there's always more to learn, but we do both late stage, like much later stage, and also earlier stage. And when the earlier stage is post revenue, but still in the early realms, the early stage is where we can actually help through introduction, which is really important to us. I think a lot of people are just placing bets and just letting it just play out. Like, hey, I'm just going to invest in this company and never hear from them in the next 5 years until they eventually sell it. Hopefully for us, it's okay, we're going to invest in your company. Let us make intros to actually boost your company. So whether it be like finding you the best accountants, whether it be finding you other investors that could potentially be involved, connect you to influencers, whatever it is that we can actually do to help boost your business, that's where we like to be involved. And then in the later stage, company like the humanoid robotic company that you're involved with, we love companies that we actually eventually see, of course, either getting bought or IPOing. We don't want to bring to our investors where we don't personally believe that there's an eventual exit, of course, within these like emerging technologies and emerging companies. So that's the next stage of where we're at on the venture side.
This really comes back down to community and relationships again. The fact that you guys doubled down and you're not only trusting the corporations and companies that you're with, that you're actually doing the vetting and they're part of your community. They're getting the, Jake and Axe stamp of approval here. And then you're going to your internal community and saying, we believe in them so much that we're investing. You don't hear that. It's really reassuring. It's like that. I think that was my first question is like, are you guys investing into this? It was, yes, absolutely. We wouldn't send you anything that we're not personally invested into it, that we personally don't believe in it. It was like, well, shit. I mean, do I even need to look at the paperwork? All right, fine. Just take my money. Let's see where it goes. Relationships, once again, crucial everything. I love that it's big picture, higher, big picture, lower risk, low reward. And you also have some other ones too, higher risk, high reward. That's the name of the game.
Yeah. We like to diversify. Plus, Shane, it also allows our investors to pick and choose, right? Like not every investor is going to want to invest in every deal. So the fact that we're bringing them kind of the vetted quality deals we're investing in, but also the fact that it touches the late and early stage allows them to pick which risk appetite works best for them in that stage of their life from an investing perspective.
So the companies, especially my type of clients, I know a lot of them personally, at least throughout over the years. A lot of them blame time. They don't have time to look into something. They don't have time to network. They don't have time to do a podcast. They don't have time to grow the actual community. Just curious, on just that alone, what would you say to that?
I would say there's always time. I think there's always time if you want to make time for things. Like when people say they're too busy is just a thought. I think, let's say I told you right now, Shane, there's $1 million. You just have to drive 2 hours and it's waiting in a box in Las Vegas, whatever it is. Are you going to go about doing it, or you're going to say you're too busy? You're going to find a way. You're going to find a way to go do it.
I have questions, but yes, I'm going to go about it. I'm going to go do it.
It's 100% vetted. It's credible. The money's there. It's waiting for you. It's just yours. You're going to go ahead and do it.
On my way.
A lot of people think short term when it comes to time. They think, I'm going to spend this 2 hours right now where I could be doing 2 hours doing something else that will make them potentially more money or give them more value now, but in the long term, it won't. So I think when I hear the time excuse, I think they're just not thinking long term correctly in the right way.
Mike? Yeah, I don't think time fits in a box. Like, it's a spectrum where time can be spent working on business development or prospecting day one, but then it could be spent on marketing and social media on day two. And as a founder, a business owner, or even just an individual, a human on planet Earth, you need to be in tune with where you think your time should be best spent, and then flex up and down based on the priorities of what you're trying to achieve that given day, week, month, or year. So that's my first thought. The second one is, for better or worse, at Nucleus, we kind of have an internal and external saying, like, everything is figure outable. And we say that because we really want to manifest making shit happen, part of my language. Like, we want to just do shit. And sometimes that comes at a cost, right? Sometimes we're moving too fast. Sometimes there might be a small mistake or a hiccup or a typo, for example, that comes about it. But we feel like it's our advantage, and that we're not just sitting around waiting for shit to come to us. We're being proactive. We're responding quickly. We're communicating effectively. We're making these introductions. We're trying to close deals. We're trying to help people expand their network, and all of that kind of compounds over time to feed itself. And that's kind of the way we think about how to work on things, because there's always going to be a million things to get done. And so you just as an individual have to be in tune with what you think is the most important at that time.
I think you said it perfectly. Priorities, right? What are your priorities here? And you guys are living proof of the taking action. 18 months and look where you guys are at right now. Look what you guys have already expanded and doing right now. It's absolutely incredible. So time being the most valuable commodity that we have on this planet. How are you guys delegating those tedious, mundane tasks that nobody likes to do so you could focus on the big picture stuff?
I was waiting on the question, Shane. I was going to bring it up myself, by the way.
Was I?
You did it for us.
Yeah.
So yes, I highly endorse the VA group. For everybody listening in, the VA group has, I mean it, I really mean it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Significantly helped our business, like significantly. It's even more than just the mundane tasks. We have an amazing VA. Her name, she's in the Philippines. She's unbelievable. We got her, of course, through the VA group. And I really just enjoy chatting with her. I enjoy spending time and getting to know her for who she is. And she just has opened up so many more ways for us to actually build our business. So yeah, I thank you for all that you've done, Shane, and bringing us to life, because we were hesitant on the VA aspect. We have people who have said that it's worked, but we didn't actually take time to do it. And now that we've actually done it, it's, like I said, drastically changed our business. Feel free to add on.
I can take it a step further. When we were internally debating about what the best path forward was for the VA, after we decided to move forward, we started slow. We said, we'll start with a part-time VA, 20 hours a week. Week one, that changed immediately, and 20 became 40 hours. And now month one VA is becoming 2. So you can kind of see, going back to the time conversation, how quickly we like to make those decisions. But it's truthfully because we saw the value in the VA and what it was changing for our business and freeing up our time. Because if Jake and I were spending time doing a couple of admin or mundane, tedious tasks, that's probably not the best use of our time. The fact that we have the VA group support that allows us to free up our time and spend it on higher profile, higher ticket item, more important, higher priority actions. It really has changed our business. And I'm excited to see how that continues to change our business as we scale up with the current VA, as we bring on a second VA and potentially a third from there. Because that's, when time is you only have so much time as an individual, but if you have 5 people's time, then how much can you get done? And then you multiply that, so on and so forth. And you're the living and breathing example of that, Shane. So really huge shout out to you, what you've built, the team, and it's been a huge resource for us.
Well, thank you so much for the kind words. And to be honest, this is the same type of feedback that I get from most of these clients is, reviews like this. And I really do appreciate it. It's never, it's never not enough. I love hearing about it. I want to tell you guys the reason why I went to the Philippines, and I actually got, all of my virtual assistants from there. It's the work ethic and the family values that they have. Most of them still have their entire family, grandmas, parents, occasionally aunts and uncles there, because they have instinct in that value. Even when somebody passes away, the burden almost gets put onto them. They're very religious. They believe into a higher power, and the work ethic, as the time difference over there being 12 to 15 hours based on where you're at in the US side, they're nonstop. But I've been doing this for almost 6 years now, and they just want more. They just want, how can I expand? How can I get into a management role? How can I, be of more service to you? They go above and beyond. And that's the exact reason why I devoted everything into the Philippines, into the virtual assistants over there. The more that I have gone over there and compared it to, especially the younger demographic, and I don't want to put everybody into a bucket here, but I feel like, and I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are too, there's like a sense of entitlement for a younger generation that they deserve a certain amount of money. They deserve a certain title when they haven't accomplished anything. I mean, I'm curious on what you guys think of the actual workforce that's in the United States. And that'll be my last question as far as employment, I promise.
Well, I'll pass off to Jake because he's been leading a lot of the recruitment stuff at Nucleus. We've had interns in the past, and we still have a team that is U.S. based, and of course we found success. But I think Jake has a better lens on the differences between offshore versus U.S.
Yeah, Shane, I think you hit it right on the head. I think the generation, let's say 30 and under, for some reason, and I think a lot of it has to do with social media. I think there are so many distractions because we're seeing people flex in front of cars they don't own and yachts they don't own and planes they don't own, that you just want it now. And I think really when it comes down to it, we'll flip back onto Nucleus's head. We really try to surround ourselves with people that are a lot of the people that are in the Nucleus are younger, like younger under 30, that are hustlers. We love hustlers that actually want to move forward. It doesn't matter where you came from. If you came from a really successful family or not as successful monetarily, the people that we've seen are the most effective and are growing the most are the ones that have that like dog attitude, that are just like continuing to grow. And the VA that we have, it's crazy. She has the same mentality. Like, doesn't matter where she came from. She just wants to get better and she wants to service people. So that's what we've noticed. But there definitely is a decline that I've seen.
And going back to the VA real quick, just to add on to that, our virtual assistant is such an amazing communicator. I would argue she's too good of a communicator, meaning she's overly, informing us on things she's working on. And for us, that's the biggest thing, not only with someone we're going to hire, Shane, but a partner, a friend, a client, a customer. It's like our non-negotiable. Like you need to be someone, whether it's a yes, no, or maybe, let the person know so that, they're top of mind. They know you're working on it. They know that you're kind of being proactive versus having to be chased to get information. And that for us is, it starts with that, because everything else can be, a spin-off from there. So we're really appreciative of the communication from the VA.
Well, I can't get my head any bigger than it is. So I appreciate you guys and I appreciate all the kind words, and I'm definitely going to take care of your virtual assistant. Lunch is definitely on me. I love the glowing reviews, and especially from you guys too, who's going to shoot it to me straight, whether it's bad or good. So my last question here is, what's in store for the Nucleus here? What's the end goal here? What's the next 5 years look like? What do you guys got? Taking over the world, I get it. But
yeah, we were actually on a podcast last week and we were asked a pretty similar question, and I liked an answer Jake had, and I might butcher it, but I think the number was 1 million people, Jake, or something. You said you want to be the person, we want to be the people known for connecting 1 million great people to each other. Because one introduction we've seen alone can change an individual's life personally and professionally. So you multiply that by 1 million, and it's pretty absurd to think that the impact that could have, on our business, and Nucleus, as myself and Jake as co-founders, and huge Shane and our clients and partners and customers and friends. And so we like being the Nucleus. That's why we called it, the Nucleus Network, the conduit for connecting great people to great people. And we're figuring out ways internally, including the VA and other AI tools, to help us scale what we've got going right now. Because, in the first 18 months, if we've made over 5,000 intros, think about what we could do in the next 18 months and then the next 18 months. And so that's kind of the way we like to think about this long term. And that manifests itself across all three of our core pillars, right? Ventures on the investing side, advisory on the growth side, and then community on the event side.
Can I add a little story that from what I remember on a podcast with Jake? And I might butcher the story a little bit here, but I remember specifically that you guys had somebody in the Nucleus Network that didn't want business referrals. He, and this was before the investment piece actually took off. He was looking for a friend. He's like, I want somebody that's in my network, my net worth. And I want somebody that enjoys the same things. And if I remember correctly, you actually found somebody who was around the same net worth. And now they go on trips together. They went to Europe and private jets, and even that, at a super high end net worth individual, that type of connection, I'm with you for life.
You never know what someone's going to need. You never know. And the more that people trust you and can tell you what they need directly, the more you can eventually help them. Because people gatekeep what they actually are looking for. There's the basic answer, I need leads, I need this. But when you actually get to know someone, you can eventually find out how you can solve their problem through an intro. But yes, that's definitely happened. I'm sure everyone has different problems. Everyone has different challenges that they go through. And it's just about getting to that source as quick as possible that you can eventually make it work.
Jake's got a therapist background in him. I see it.
I learn from the best. I learn from Vin Infante. That's where I get all my lessons from.
It's a nice shout out. I love it. All right, guys, where can my clients find you at? Shout yourself out.
Find us, the nucleusnetwork.com. That's our website. LinkedIn is our favorite platform. At Michael Axman, which is Axe over there. Myself at Jake Fleshner on LinkedIn. We have a newsletter as well. So if you go to my LinkedIn, you can find our newsletter. And hopefully at the next event. Last year we did close to 16 events. This year we're trying to do close to 40 all over the world, all over the country. We'll be in Cannes in France coming up at Cannes Lions. Michael lives in New York. I live in Los Angeles, but we're always on the move. So we'd love to have you at our upcoming events that we host through Nucleus Community.
You know, I don't say this too often, but forget everything that he just said. You come to me personally if you want an intro, and I'll tell you everything about Jake and Axe, and I'll make you the personal intro there on top of everything as well. I actually just wrote down the newsletter. I think I subscribed, but if not, I'm subscribing right after this. Okay, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time today. Thank you so much for jumping on the Beyond Virtual podcast. Stay tuned for more amazing VA Group clients like Jake and Axe as well. Yeah, and I'll see you the next time.
All right, Shane, thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys. You're out.